that is 2025, and we are left with 13 days to obviously come to the end of this month. And guys, it looks like the year just started yesterday, but lots of things are really happening and really causing lots of speed, that the year is really moving at a very the year is moving at full pelt. Then I'm having Babulia Paul says, good morning, my brother. Then in Monen, good morning, how are you? And hope everything is really moving on well as planned. Arsenal is taking on Aston Villa today. And again, Arsenal looks like they're going to be playing Aston Villa in a very more tense time, because Liverpool is playing away at Brentford in London today, and after Liverpool playing, that's when Arsenal will obviously be getting into the pitch of Emirates to obviously get themselves up and running. But we all know to it that any result from that game will obviously create lots of pressure to the club of Arsenal. If Liverpool loses to Brighton, Arsenal will be knowing that they are 4 points behind Liverpool, and if at all they win, they'll close into 1. If Liverpool draws, Arsenal will be knowing that they are 5 points behind Liverpool, and if at all they beat Aston Villa, they'll be 2 points behind Liverpool. If Liverpool wins, Arsenal will get into this fixture knowing that there is a 7-gap difference in between them and Liverpool, and it's a must-win in between them and Villa. You understand? Now, if Arsenal goes into this game of football and they lose, they'll know to it that they would have gone ahead, obviously lose out or miss out on a chance that would see them really put Liverpool to a chase that everyone would obviously entertain. And the game of football is going to be played at 20-30 hours at the Emirates Stadium that capacitated 60,704 people into that stadium. Arsenal comes into this game of football after beating Tottenham Hotspur by 2-1. An own goal from Dominic Solanke, and Leandro Trossard came up and obviously scored the winner. Then Aston Villa, I think they drew, and it's not all that good for them. And when you look at the Premier League, Aston Villa they didn't beat anyone. Where is Villa? Villa's last game. Aston Villa. All right, Aston Villa beat Everton by 1-0. And when you look at the table of the Premier League as it stands, Aston Villa is placed 7th. They're having 35 points, and they are just 3 points off the top 4. And I tell you, there will never be, in the previous past, we never really had something different in competing for the top 4. This time around, we are having close to 6-7 teams that are really eyeing the top 4. And if at all they obviously put in a very big shift, they'll find themselves in a position of obviously qualifying for the Champions League. And you know what it means for those players and their bosses. Their bosses are really promising them huge amounts of money that if at all you go out and really make it happen, you know exactly what it is. We are going to give you a serious amount of money, and these players note it that when they qualify for the Champions League, money will obviously increase and everything will get on up and running. So as it stands, that's what we're really getting in through from that side. But Arsenal's manager had something to say about this beautiful game of football as they take on Aston Villa. When he was asked about the injury, he said, "We have a few decisions to make this afternoon with the medical staff to understand whether they are in the best condition for this game or the next one. So we will decide that." Now, before Arteta came up into the pre-match press conference yesterday, we had stories that Benjamin White and Tomiyasu had trained with the team the previous day, that is on Thursday. And in the photos that I'm going to be showing you of how Arsenal really did the final preparations ahead of the game of Aston Villa, these players never featured anywhere. But that doesn't really nullify the fact that these players are back into the training of Arsenal, and these two are really very pivotal into what Arsenal should be looking like, because I believe that Arteta will be having very many options if at all Tomiyasu and Benjamin White really return. Now, on this particular fixture, on facing Aston Villa, the manager said, we know the difficulty of the team that they are. That's why they are performing so well. They have an excellent coach, very good players, real good organization, and we are so used to that in the Premier League. So he's confirming to us that it's a difficult team to face. And why is it a difficult team to face? Because last season, it's the only team that got 6 points from Arsenal. Away from home and at home, Arsenal lost to Villa in both ties. So that's how everything went ahead obviously happened for the club of Arsenal, and that's why the manager is referring to it as one of the difficult games that Arsenal is going to play. I'm having Cherop Alex. Good morning, Rokani. Cherop Alex from Kapchora. Thank you for watching in through. And I'm having Andrew Mwanja. Rokani, I'm hoping Ateta does not play Partey at the right back. All right, let's see. My probable starting 11 is going to be coming up in a nick of an eye. Now, for Arsenal, players that are really doubtful: Tomiyasu, Ben White. By the way, for Tomiyasu and Ben White, you might see them into the match squad today because they've trained for the previous 2-3 days with the team. Ethan Nwaneri is out. Bukayo Saka is out. Ricardo Carafiori is one of those that might show up or not show up, but the other two that won't even sneak near the squad are Bukayo Saka and Ethan Nwaneri. Ben White, Tomiyasu, and Carafiori will be undergoing what we call a late fitness test, and you never know, one of those might obviously show up and put up a very huge showcase into that beautiful game of football. Then for the side of Aston Villa, Pau Torres is out, Ross Barkley is out with a calf injury, John McGinn is out with a thigh injury, Diego Carlos is suffering from a small injury, and the manager will obviously have to question or to really get a report from the physio team and see whether he'll make it to that bench. John Duran returns after his ban, I think, is coming to an end, but it's up to the manager to see whether he obviously starts. But today, we might see Dylan Mellon making his debut at Villa because he was signed this week, and he might be one of those players that are really going to be coming in to put in a very beautiful shift into the encounter today. Now, let's get into the probable starting 11 for the side of Arsenal. And the system is always a 4-3-3, and it's known everywhere. So, obviously, in goal, it's going to be David Raya. This is the goalkeeper that is going to have to prove very many people that he's really worth to be in between the stitches. He's really worth to replace Aaron Ramsdale. Right back, obviously, it's going to be Julian Timber for you. And you never know, Ben White or Tomiyasu, who obviously proves to the manager that he's ready to play, might also come in through and really play part into this game of football. Then on the left back, Lewis Skelly is expected to obviously come and really start onto that position and really put in a very beautiful shift altogether. And then we are having the right-sided centre-back. I know William Saliba is really one of those that will showcase up, though not being seen into the photos of the final preparations for the game of Aston Villa. Then left-sided centre-back, Gabriel Magalhaes will obviously have to show up into the mix. And thank you, Denzel, for watching in through from Liantonde. And we go to the CDM. Obviously, the CDM will have Thomas Partey play into that position, according to me. Then alongside who? Alongside Declan Rice. Then the captain, Martin Odegaard, will come into the mix because the midfield of Aston Villa is really strong. You know, the Boba Kamaras are back and the Tillemans are here. So the Onanas are here. Arsenal needs to obviously provide the best into that central midfield of theirs to obviously try to win that midfield battle, as games of football are won and lost in the midfield. That's known to many of you. Then right forward, it's really gonna be none other than Raheem Sterling, obviously, to play as a right forward. And I think this is the reason as to why a player like him was signed. That when Arsenal is really having an injury that is really major, this man should obviously come up and rise up to the occasion. But that's why I've always gonna hate obviously put the blame to this manager. You know, I've gonna hate obviously put the blame to this manager and I'm talking about Mikel Arteta. If you have a player like Raheem Sterling who has been struggling for game time at the side of Chelsea, why do you always not get him on at least to play like some 20 minutes in to see to it that he gets back to his level of fitness? Because we all know to it that an informed Raheem Sterling can help Arsenal peruse through this period without Bukayo Saka. But the manager never did what he had to do, and the player is struggling to obviously get to form. And I think if I told Mikel Arteta, all the next games I start Raheem Sterling like he did in the game of Spurs, I start him in this game too, because all he needs is to get his confidence back. And when he gets his confidence back, he can be a very deadly player. Though he's really wasteful when it comes to really scoring, but I tell you, he's unselfish and he can obviously create you chances like the one he created for Ethan Nwaneri and very many others. So I believe in him, and all what the manager has to do is to obviously offer him enough playing time. I think if the player is appreciated, I tell you, all will go on as planned for the man himself, known as Raheem Sterling. So I believe Sterling should obviously start onto the right, because for me he's the best right forward they do have right now. Left forward, this manager loves Martinelli, and I know he's obviously going to start him. And though Trossard scored, I don't think that the manager of Arsenal will be like, let me obviously keep Trossard on the pitch. I know he'll try Martinelli there, but I would have gone ahead to start Leandro Trossard into that position to see to it that we obviously see the best of the best of Trossard. When a player really scores a goal, you obviously have to obviously give him confidence to keep him onto the pitch and really show him that I want you to be here. And that's why Trossard doesn't want to renew his contract at Arsenal, because Arteta hasn't gone ahead to obviously reward him for being the best left forward at the club of Arsenal. If you're truthful to yourself, ever since Leandro Trossard came in here, I think was it on the 17th or 19th of 2023 January, no left forward at Arsenal has performed better than him in assists and in goals. You get? This boy is really deadly, and because Arteta has shown him that even if you perform like that, my favorite is Martinelli, I think that's why he has refused to obviously come up and obviously put in the required shift altogether to obviously sign in a contract at Arsenal. Because Arteta is like, even if you perform how, I'm not really going to appreciate you. So that is really very bad for Arteta, and I think he has favoritism for certain players, and Martinelli is one of those. So that's exactly what I want the team of Arsenal to look like, and then Kai Havertz will lead the line. By the way, I'm having a feeling in me that even Kai Havertz might be benched today, and the manager might be like, let me start Martinelli as a left forward and let me play Leandro Trossard as a false number 9. You remember those games where Trossard was played as a false number 9? He really looked great because he's like playing a free role into that team of Arsenal. So the manager might think about that, and we're waiting to see how the manager will obviously do the needful into this encounter. Then when we look at Villa, how do we expect them to stand? Martinez, formerly at Arsenal, is going to be in between the stitches or the sticks. Cash, right back. Digne, left back. Konsa and Mings are going to be played into the central defense. Now, this midfield, guys, I tell you, it's really deadly. It's deadly, I tell you. And Arsenal should obviously prepare for this. Hear me out. Kamara, Boba, seated at the single pivot alongside Onana and Yuri Tillemans. You understand? Then Rogers, Bailey and Watkins to lead that line. So guys, I tell you, this team is really good, and Arsenal need to defend very well. Arsenal need to obviously put in a very good shift. And for Lewis Skelly, oh my God, I've started feeling for him. And I'm going to hate to see someone in the comments section. Let me get his name right. He has talked about, it is Andrew Mwanja. He has told us that Rokani, I'm hopeful Ateta does not play party at right back. I tell you, if one of these two, Tomiyasu or Ben White, don't make it to the starting 11, I don't think the manager will risk Lewis Skelly to face Leon Bailey. You know, I don't think the manager of Arsenal will risk, hear me out, I don't think that the manager of Arsenal will risk, one, Lewis Skelly to face Leon Bailey. Guys, Leon Bailey is deadly, and that's why he might send their Julian Timber into the mix, or if at all Ricardo Carafiori is available. But I tell you what, it's really gonna be a very hard battle because Leon Bailey is really deadly, very, very deadly. Morgan Rogers is another threat that Arsenal has to look at because the boy is really in fine form, as you've seen him play into the mix. Now, let's get into the head-to-head stats because these ones are really very important into what my prediction is always like. And you know, after this, that's when I bring you my prediction. I know most of you are like, Rokani, we want to know your prediction. All right, let's roll down and see what my prediction is really going to be like. First and foremost, Arsenal lost this exact fixture to nil last season. They've not lost consecutive home league games against Aston Villa since their first two meetings in the Premier League, you know. And remember, this season, Arsenal went at Villa and they beat Villa. You know that very well. Secondly, Aston Villa have won 5 of their last 10 Premier League meetings, with Gunners 5 losses, as many as had in their previous 46 against the Gunners. Thirdly, none of the last 18 Premier League meetings between Arsenal and Aston Villa have been draw, meaning that Arsenal has won 12 games and Aston Villa has won 6. So, if anyone is predicting a draw today, you need to look at this stat very well. The last 18 fixtures between these two sides has not seen a draw produced. It has been losses and wins produced. The Gunners have only had a longer run against Newcastle 19 from 2012 to 2022, while the Villains have only had a longer run against Spurs, a current run of 19. Fourthly, having lost just one of their last 13 Premier League away games against London sides under Unai Emery, with 9 wins and 3 draws, Aston Villa have lost their last 2 visits to the capital by an aggregate of 7-1. So their visits to London have not gone ahead, obviously, be good into the mix. Then, lastly, Arsenal are unbeaten in their last 13 Premier League home games, 10 wins and 3 draws since a 2-0 defeat to Villa last April. The Gunners last had a longer run without defeat at the Emirates between August and April 2018-2019 under current manager Unai Emery 16. So, Arsenal was last beaten at the Emirates by Aston Villa. That is last year. You know, I think it was Ollie Watkins and who, you know, and Leon Bailey. You understand? So, are Villa gonna really set the trend again? Or Arsenal is gonna really stop Villa or revenge to Villa? Because if Arsenal had won that game of Villa, I tell you what, they would have gone ahead to be in right contention to obviously win the trophy, because City had 2 more points ahead of them, and if at all they won that game of Villa, it would have gone ahead to go to Arsenal would have gone ahead to have 92 points, and they would have gone ahead to be able to lift the league into the mix. So that's exactly how we think Arsenal is obviously going to be lining up when they're taking on the side of Villa. So your thoughts onto that are welcome in the comment section below. And what's my prediction? 2-1 win for the club of Arsenal. That's my prediction. I'm going in for a 2-1 win for the club of Arsenal. Before I take you to what happened yesterday in the training session at the Emirates, allow me read through those comments in the live chat that I haven't gone ahead to obviously read through. Having Nathali Monen, hope Saliba not injured, not photos. I haven't gone ahead obviously hear anything about him, but very soon before the game starts, you'll get an update. Keep tuned onto this channel. Denzel tuned in from Liantonde. Thank you for watching through. Dila Freddy, Good morning, Rokani. Watching you live from Masindi Municipality, Western Uganda. All right. Monen, good lineup. For me, Martinelli, Trossard, Sterling. That is your front three. That's what you think. Yeah, all right. Dilla Freddy, Lewis Skelly is improving every day. The lad is relatively good. Yeah, he's good, but can you sacrifice him to one of the best right forwards in the league? That is Leon Bailey, who has gone ahead obviously slate and really roast and cook even players that are really better than Lewis Skelly. I wouldn't obviously see to it that he goes ahead and obviously does that. Monen says Bailey ex-teammate Trossard in Genk, Belgium, good player. Yeah, he's really a very good player, and I just feel for Lewis Skelly. But these youngsters have gone ahead obviously. Lewis Skelly has faced some deadly players, and he has gone ahead obviously stop them. If I'm not mistaken, when you look at the fixture that was played in the midweek, Arsenal, where Arsenal had obviously take on the side of Spurs, I think Lewis Skelly came up and represented to the fullest. When you look at the lineups, Lewis Skelly played as a left back, and he was facing Dejan Kulusevski. And Dejan Kulusevski is one of those that has shown some good intent to obviously come up and obviously be one of those players that will put in a shift and obviously slate very many players. But Lewis Skelly went ahead obviously pocket him all the way. So I'm not surprised, and let's wait and see the decision that manager will make. You know it well that an hour to the game, that's when we come up and obviously tell you what the confirmed starting 11 is like. Now, these are the players of Arsenal that were part of the training session at the Sobha Reality Training Center. Trossard, Martinelli, Gabriel Magalhaes, Thomas Partey. Martinelli and Thomas Partey, that is Raheem Sterling and Lewis Skelly, a man whom we've been looking at. And I've gone ahead to read about a story. I don't know, was it David Austin or what? They're like, Arsenal, after getting in Zubimendi in the summer transfer window, they are not going to go in for any other midfielder. Why? Arsenal are looking to really shift Lewis Skelly to be played into the midfield because his original position is midfield. You all know that. You understand? His original position is midfield, and we know to it that he's one of the best midfielders in the academy. And we know him, that is Lewis Skelly, Doza Bowery, and Waneri, we are playing to that midfield. You understand? And they really looked great. Then this is Gabriel Magalhaes, obviously living up to the expectations into this level of game that Arsenal is going to be playing at the stadium of the Emirates. You understand? And that is Gabriel Magalhaes for you. Then, and Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba are really going to be having a busy afternoon. You know, from defending Ollie Watkins, John Duran comes in through. It's really not going to be easy. You see the man himself well there. That is Julian Timber and Kai Havertz. This is Gabriel Martinelli. This is Declan Rice stretching with Lewis Skelly, Partey, and Julian Timber. Then we are having Martin Odegaard, happy captain. He knows what he has to be doing today to lift his level, to lift his team to closing down on Liverpool. Martinelli, obviously, looking on, ready for the game. All smiles, looks like we're celebrating after scoring a worldie during training. This is Raheem Sterling, one of the players that I obviously think should start, all tip to start into this game. Thomas Partey, Lewis Skelly, Declan Rice, and Raheem Sterling. Gabriel Magalhaes, he's really going to be having a busy afternoon. This is David Raya, the goalkeeper of Arsenal. Thomas Partey passing the ball. Odegaard trying to dribble that ball alongside him. And Mikel Merino is one of those that looked really pretty good in the training session. And Trossard obviously trying to take on these youngsters from the academy. And we also have another gentleman, Jorginho, also looking on there. This is Declan Rice doing the needful as this youngster looks on. I'm talking about Julian Timber. He's not a youngster, I'm sorry. Then Jorginho obviously going on to pass the ball. Arteta issuing instructions during the match, during the pre-match training session that was conducted at the Sobha Reality Training Center. Then Mikel Merino coming up into the mix, and that is Mikel Arteta obviously trying to talk to Martin Odegaard. Again, it was Arteta talking to Odegaard. Then Julian Timber, man of the moment. And Arteta in the pre-match press conference was asked on how he has come up and obviously found it easy to manage his minutes and keep him fit. Arteta was like, it has been a decision that has been taken by our physio team. Then this is Jorginho obviously doing the needful, trying to pass that ball in there for you. Arteta looking on. Gabriel Magalhaes, Partey, Kai Havertz, Lewis Skelly, man of discussion into this game of football. Will the manager trust him to obviously play onto that side where Leon Bailey is obviously going to be attacking, you know? This is Martinelli and Merino. Raya obviously screaming at his fellow defenders to obviously make what he wants, and that is Raya for you doing the needful. Jorginho obviously with Neto. This is Martin Odegaard coming up to obviously look on well. And lastly, that is Julian Timber. Those are the photos we got from the training session of the club of Arsenal as they prepare to obviously take on the side of Aston Villa. Big game, and I know Aston Villa are really gonna be in a very good charge, you know. Aston Villa are coming in through with a very huge charge to obviously take on the side of Arsenal. And their manager is also looking to obviously reinforce his squad, because we all know that today they do have Malen into their squad and he's traveling with them to London to take on the side of Arsenal. So let's wait and see how that pans out. But this has been Rokani David onto the Rokani Media Football, and continue to subscribe to this channel so as don't miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. I'm having Mumba Rokani update us on transfers. Arsenal looking in for forward, by the way. For those that are interested in transfers, Arsenal are looking in for forward. That is it. That's the news we are getting in through right now. Arsenal are looking in through for a forward. That is it. They are looking in through for a forward, and the list has Benjamin Šeško, Wissa. The list has which other striker? Jonathan David, Marcus Rashford, Gyökeres is also one of those that has been linked to Arsenal. So the list is really growing every other day that really passes by. But as it stands, Arsenal are interested in a forward because things aren't looking well for them. And in these remaining 16 days for the summer transfer window, for the winter transfer window to close, don't be surprised when Arsenal comes up and obviously put in that shift. You understand? Then Mubarak Nabongo, Mr. Aradi, good morning. I want to know why Romano never sounded a here we go of Zubimendi to Arsenal. Any team can hijack the deal. No. No team can hijack the deal because the player has been convinced by Arsenal and he has an agreement in principle on the personal terms, and Arsenal wanted to bring the player during the January transfer window. But Sociedad was like, we are not willing to sell this player. We are only going to sell this player in the summer. And that's why a here we go hasn't been sounded. But they've gone ahead, obviously, agree. A here we go is sounded after the two clubs have gone ahead, obviously come to a common ground. But a here we go is not sound. A here we go is not sounded when personal terms have gone ahead to be agreed. You've heard it very well that personal terms aren't a problem on very many deals. Like for example, Ricardo Carafiori, personal terms were in place for a month before even a Here We Go was sounded. So personal terms don't mean that you've gone ahead to obviously get the deal done. The deal gets done when you've gone ahead to obviously agree with the club that has authority onto that player. You understand? That is it. Andrew Mwanja, Skelly will pocket Bailey all day. The boys' confidence is growing. Let's wait and see. I just can't wait to see how he's going to be performing against this guy. But Lewis Skelly is a very, very, very good player. We have all to admit, very, very good player. And I love what he puts up on the field every other day. His consistency is really great. And he's not like Waneri, because Waneri had a chance and he got injured. Lewis Skelly, ever since he got into that starting 11 of Arsenal, I think they're playing against Monaco, and then he started in the Premier League game. I tell you what, he hasn't looked back. He hasn't gone ahead, obviously, get injured. And it shows you that he's really going to be one of the most competitive players in that Arsenal side. So Waneri would have gone ahead to be starting in all of these games, because he started in like 2-3 consecutive Premier League games. And in one of those games, he really had a goal. But he got himself injured and he's really out for some time. Then Arjuna Frank, thanks for the update, Mr. Aradi. A good morning for everyone watching in through. But remember, we are powered by Muno Gadgets. And who are Muno Gadgets? Muno Gadgets are dealers in brand new phones and brand new laptops. If at all you feel like you need those brand new phones and brand new laptops, call them on +256 70 99 88 665. Even if you need an affordable smartwatch, call them on that number. Even if you need used phones and used laptops from the United Kingdom, right? Go ahead and obviously call them on that number. But you can as well, even if you don't want to buy, don't hesitate to go onto their TikTok account and really subscribe, and really follow them up for the content, for the wide range of products that they do put up there. So guys, that's my probable starting 11. I don't know what your thoughts are about it. My prediction is 2-1 in favor of Arsenal. But I tell you, it's not going to be an easy one. If you are seated here and you think that game of football is going to be easy, please, better put it in your mind, that it's not going to be an easy game, because that midfield of Aston Villa is back to full functionality, and they're having a Kamara, Onana, and let me see, there is the third player, Tielemans. There is Morgan Rogers. So those players are really deadly if you've been watching. Lastly, Zuma Richard, thanks for the update. Good morning. And guys, I'm preparing an upload coming in through, I think, like 1.5 hours from now. Turn your notification bells on and continue to subscribe, because we want to hit 25,000, but we're on the road to hit 24,300 subscribers. You get? So bye bye for now. See you later. Love you all. And for everyone that's